Okay, dokie.
Yeah.
Are we
So look
live?
it up.
Are we live here?
You tell me.
I'm pretty
You
sure we should
control
be
it.
live. But what's up,
We
people?
should be
How you
live.
doing? How you feeling? Hopefully everyone's having a fantastic day, and we're ready to get into a 2024 Dynasty rookie mock draft. But Aki, let me start the stream by asking you, who's a player? You know, we're about to release V2 of our rookie report. Who's a player that surprised you the most as we went through wave 2 of our scouting?
Player that surprised me the most of wave 2. At the wide receiver position, I have Jacob. There's two. Jacob Coing or Cowing, however way you say it.
I believe it's Cohen,
And then
but
Coing.
keep
And
going.
then Jermaine Burton. Those are the two wide receivers that have surprised me.
I absolutely love that you talked about Jermaine Burton. You know I love that guy.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Any running backs that kind of came out of nowhere for you? The more I scout, the deeper I went, I was just like, oh, so this is the class. I don't know. Is there anyone that stood out to you, running back wise?
At the running back position? No, not really.
No.
Not the ones that since I've scouted them, I just still really like Bucky Irving.
Yeah, dude. I will say, like, looking through a little more, you know, all 22, diving a little deeper, I do like Bucky Irving a lot more as we're going into V2 of this release than I did beforehand. Yeah, I think he could be a real threat in PPR formats. He's actually my RB3 at this point.
Okay, so we're on the same page here, which is really good.
Yeah, I think he could be a real threat. I mean, I think he had like 44 targets this year, if I'm not mistaken, and was used really well in
No, it's more 55.
game. Is it 55 targets? Was it 44 receptions that I'm missing? Anyway, doesn't matter. But
Maybe something along those lines.
thank you guys for joining us. Do us a massive favor. Go ahead and smash that like button as the stream is beginning. I'm sorry for looking at my phone. Just had to take care of something real quick. But we appreciate you. It's going to be a great stream. Again, do us a massive favor. Smash that like button as we start to show some love to help the channel grow. We see it in the chat. Waffle Boy, Chef, Double L. What's up, Peyton? This will be a super flex moth. We see you guys. Welcome into the chat. Do we have a draft countdown? I always look for it. Yes, we do, from Daniel Macy. 87 days until the NFL draft. We see Andrew. Welcome him, everybody. What's up? We see you, Buzz, the Roll, Cheester Boys, Felizus Christ,
How are you feeling,
Gaming. You love to see it. Okay, so if people want to join today's mock draft, Badaki, is it possible? And if so, how?
No question. All you have to do is join our Discord. Link in the description below, and link is in the chat, as you can see right there. Once you join our Discord, all you have to do is go to the DynastyLand tab there with the orange footballs on the left hand side, and then go to content releases. That's exactly how you can join each and every mock draft live stream, where you can see all of our content there, content releases. So once again, join our Discord. The link in the description, the link is in the chat. Once you do that, go to the DynastyLand tab with the orange footballs, content releases, and it is first come, first serve. As a nice little hint before I send out that link, get on the computer, get on some sort of PC, laptop. Your phone could get it done, but it's a faster response time with a computer if you are trying to get into a mock draft with us, whether tonight or in the future.
Yeah.
So I'll send that link out here in 3, 2, 1. There you go. That link is officially out.
While people are now joining
draft.
the stream, there's a couple things we want to tell you guys about. We want to make the best content possible, and in order to make the best content possible, we need your guys' help. So here's something I need your help with. We're wanting to make a video this week talking about the value of 2024 first round picks. In order to make the best video possible, we need the largest set of resources possible, which is why we're coming to you. I just tweeted out, if you have made a trade or seen a trade in your league for a 2024 first round pick, if this has happened in your leagues, guys, please go to this tweet, reply to it with a screenshot, any sort of context, any sort of information, and you will most likely be featured on a video this week. So again, If you have made a trade or you've seen a trade for a 2024 first round picks, not second round picks. We'll do a second round video maybe later, but go ahead and reply to this tweet and, you know, send it out in your leagues if you want, you know, your friends to get featured in a video this week. Now, we do have a full squad, so we will get into a mock draft here in a second, but we are so damn excited about releasing version 2 of our 2024 rookie report that we've just got to let you know. We've got to let you know about what's going on over on the Flock Fantasy website on February 1st. February 1st. So, just days away. We are hours away at this point to releasing version 2 of our 2024 rookie report. If you want access to that rookie report, if you want to dive deep into the 2024 class, you want to look at profiles for, you know, let's say Jacob Cowing. You want to learn more about him, you know, a deep sleeper in this class. You want to learn more about Jalen Wright, one of my favorite sleeper running backs in this class. All you need to do, again, sign up with our promo code LAND, become a Mother Flocker member, and you'll have access to that when it releases. Again, on February 1st, our rankings will be updated. You know, more players, more profiles, you know, new features that, you know, we're not going to talk about here. We've got team fits, etc. A whole new update to the rookie report. Again, use the promo code LAND to sign up to that. You will also get access to our rankings, okay, which are consistently updating. We've got Superflex. We've got one quarterback if you're a one quarterback person. And we have also got prospect rankings up there over on the site. So you can check that out if you want to filter from, you know, let's say add my rankings, and you will look at my rankings there. You also get access to the trade calculator, the best calculator in the industry, the trade finder. You know, let's say you want to find a trade for Lamar Jackson and the other team has Patrick Mahomes. Well, what sort of trades, real trades, have gone down in the Dynasty community on Sleeper Leagues? You can see the exact format, the day it happened, and what sort of deals went down if you're trying to get some inspiration. So again, use our promo code LAND, unlock the Rookie Report version 2, unlock rankings, trade calculator, trade finder, a Dynasty team review, all that when you become a Mother Flocker member. Now, we are going to do a mock draft today. Now, we are using landing spots, so it's always fun exercise. Include landing spots because we know that does impact, of course, draft capital where players are valued. So we're using the latest 7-round mock draft from Pro Football Network's AJ Schultz. We'll go through this real quickly, and then we'll start today's mock draft. But in today's world, let me welcome you. Let me escort you in. We're walking into a door right now. This is the world we are currently living in for today's exercise. In today's world, Caleb Williams is a Chicago Bear. Drake May is a Washington Commander. Jaden Daniels is a Patriot. Marvin Harrison Jr. is an Arizona Cardinal. Brock Bowers goes to the Los Angeles Chargers. Malik Neighbors to the New York Giants, the Big Apple. We see another wide receiver in the New York area, Rome Odunze. He links up with Aaron Rodgers and Garrett Wilson. Then we see Brian Thomas link up with Trevor Lawrence in Jacksonville. J.J. McCarthy to the Rams. The kid waiting on deck to take over with Sean McVay, with Puka Nacua. Okay. Then we also see in the first round, Keon Coleman to the Bills, Troy Franklin to the Kansas City Chiefs as we head into the second round where Jalen Polk goes to the Patriots. We also see Bo Nix to the New York Giants in the second round. Adonai Mitchell to the Falcons. Michael Pratt to the Saints. Xavier Legette to the Colts. Jatavion Sanders to the Bengals. Lad McConkey to the Eagles. Michael Penix to the Steelers. Tez Walker to the Cleveland Browns, all the way down where we find Jalen McMillan to the Detroit Lions into the third round. No running back off the board yet. Xavier Worthy to the Panthers. That's a cool landing spot. Malachi Corley to the Jets. We also see Jacob Cowing to the Bengals, one of your favorite players in this draft. Jonathan Brooks to the Cowboys, the first running back off the board in the third round. Trey Benson to the Packers, the second running back off the board, also in the third round. And then we find into the fourth round where we see Roman Wilson to the Cardinals, Jermaine Burton to the Titans, Javon Baker to the Giants, Jamari Thrash to the Bears, Audric Esme is a Raider, all the way down where we see Ricky Pearsall to the Broncos, Ben Sinnott to the Bears, Braylon Allen to the Houston Texans. Don't really love the fit, but we'll talk about that later. Jaheim Bell, a guy I'm kind of starting to like a little bit, to the Chiefs. Blake Corum to the Ravens. We'll do the fifth round. You can see the rest if you like with the link that we sent in the chat. Malik Washington to the Commanders. Theo Johnson to the Broncos. Anaya Smith to the Seahawks. Jordan Travis to the Vikings, Marshawn Lloyd to the Cardinals, Jalen Wright to the Bills, Bucky Irvin all the way in the 5th to the Vikings, Taj Washington to the Panthers. Again, the 6th and 7th round is available to anybody who would like to look at it. Again, I'll put the link in the chat. But that's it. We're going to go ahead and start this 2024 Superflex Dynasty Rookie Mock Draft PPR. No tight end premium. There'll be 3 minutes on the clock. You can take as much time as you like. And we will talk about these players. So, with the 101, Dark Raven is on the clock. And he goes Caleb Williams.
No surprise.
The 101. Caleb Williams comes off the board. And keep in mind, he is a Chicago Bear here. So, he links up with Marvin Harrison Jr. Or, sorry, not Marvin Harrison Jr. DJ Moore, Cole Kmet.
DJ Moore.
And then we see Marvin Harrison Jr. come off the board. Marvin Harrison Jr. links up with Kyler Murray in Arizona. And then Jaden Daniels, who ends up with the New England Patriots. What do you think about this landing spot? He does get Jalen Polk in the 2nd round, if I'm not mistaken. Yep, with the 34th overall pick. So he's got Polk. He's got Pop Douglas. New coaching staff. What do you think about that landing spot? Yeah.
I'm here. Sorry. I was trying to think of my thought process. I don't mind the landing spot. I think this is the less intriguing landing spot for any quarterback because of the weapons around. But if they do invest in the draft capital here, Bill Belichick, even though he's no longer with the team, but the New England Patriots historically don't draft wide receivers in the 1st, 2nd, or even 3rd round. So I wonder if that's going to change with this new head coach.
I think
with this new GM.
Now. They need change.
Yeah, 100%. It's going to be very intriguing if this is going to be a landing spot with talent around, because I think a lot of people are going to potentially discount or not really like Jaden Daniels because of the landing spot, but love the upside with the rushing capability. So,
if anything, I would encourage people that, remember last year, a lot of people loved CJ Stroud, and people thought the Texans was the worst landing spot for him possible. I mean, you're a part of that, but you know that. We've talked about
100%.
that. And if anything, if you love Jaden Daniels and he goes to the Patriots, well, stand on business. You know what I mean? Bet on that player, because you never know what can happen. So I definitely hear where you're coming from, though. The Patriots right now does not look like a very good landing spot.
No, exactly.
So I hear where you're coming from. I'm up here at the 104. And lots of good options available to me. I truly think that I could go wide receiver or I could go quarterback here. And I don't, we always say go best player available. I currently believe that there are 2 best players available. There's not a difference in like the talent between these 2 names. But if it is a super flex league, I think probably you can make an argument the best landing spot for a quarterback is probably Washington. I wholeheartedly believe we're about to get Ben Johnson. And then if Drake May joins Ben Johnson, who, look what he did for Jared Goff, Terry McLaurin, Jahan Dotson, and we'll see what they do at the running back spot. I'm going to take Drake May here, a guy that I see a lot of Justin Herbert in. You've talked a little about Josh Allen with his athleticism, with his size, with his frame. So I kind of love that landing spot there, getting Drake May at the 1-4.
Yeah, 100%. Jahan Dotson, Terry McLaurin, big old Brian Robinson, the X Factor, Curtis Samuel, the cock blocker. So, I mean, it's all there for Drake May.
Well, Curtis is a free agent, so.
Look, he can come back or whatever that looks like. But yes, I do get what you're saying.
Yeah, welcome in, George.
Yes.
Unicorn says, with how many teams are quarterback needy, I don't see how 5 quarterbacks don't come out in the 1st round. Could happen.
I completely agree.
So Malik Neighbors comes off the board at the 105, and he is the savior of Daniel Jones in New York. He is there to save Daniel Jones's career. And you know what? I think he has the talent to do it. I really think he has the talent to make people believe in Daniel Jones again. Regardless, Malik Neighbors becomes the unquestioned #1 weapon in New York. That's very enticing to me. Then Brock Bowers goes at the 106. He lands with the Chargers. I want to pause just a quick second because we've kind of glazed over. Okay, that's the wrong word. We've moved over Brock Bowers quickly in most of our streams. We've Brock Bowers, great player, right? And then we kind of just move on. But in V2 of our 2024 rookie report, we dive a little deeper into the tight ends. And I did finish my scouting process on Brock Bowers in particular. And let me just say, the hype is real. And the hype is valid. And you can make a case that maybe the hype isn't even hyped up enough. You know, maybe this player is someone that people have had too much prospect fatigue with. But this is unquestionably an elite yak threat. That combo of size, speed, acceleration, break tackle ability in the open field, it's very rare to get that at the tight end position. Very few prospects at this position have shown yak ability like Brock Bowers. It's not common what he's able to do. And if you look at his production, this is why I always call him the best tight end that the collegiate level has ever seen. He has over 2,500 receiving yards and 31 total touchdowns in 3 years, including a 13 receiving touchdown year as a freshman. Do you guys know how uncommon that is for a rookie tight end to come into one of the best programs in college football and put up 13 receiving touchdowns? It's uncommon for any player at any position to do that. He opens up every part of your offense. Your run game is going to benefit. Other receivers on your team are going to benefit. He's a chain mover. He had 34 first downs, second amongst all tight ends. He's a great route runner. He's got unique stop-start ability at the position. This is a little Vernon Davis, a little George Kittle, a little Shannon Sharp. In the open field specifically, I see a little Shannon Sharp. So this is a special talent. And this is, I promise you guys, this is not like the Michael Mayer hype of last year. It's not like the Dalton Kincaid hype of last year. This guy's not getting out of the top 15 of the NFL draft. It's just not happening.
Yeah, top 15, elite tight end, a wide receiver, one prospect that's going to come in. You know, I have the likes of the Sam Laportas, the George Kittles, the Mark Andrews, all those deep bull, middle of the field, moving the chains type of tight end that Brock Bowers can easily be here. And in this mock draft, he does go, if I'm not mistaken, to the Los Angeles Chargers with the 5th overall pick in the NFL draft. That's phenomenal. And that not only does he link up with an elite head coach in the Harbaugh, he links up with Justin Herbert.
Yep. Right.
He continues to elevate his process, and we all have seen how Justin Herbert has peppered the tight end position, and that's probably going to change with the likes of Keenan Allen maybe moving on and no longer being on this team, or maybe a Mike Williams who's probably not going to be ready for week 1.
Mike Williams might get cut, dude. He might get cut. They could save $20 million if they cut him.
They're going to save $20 million, and then Quentin Johnson is just going to be there. No, I'm joking. Look, Brock Bowers, an elite tight end prospect, like you said, the best collegiate tight end that has been around outside of
no one, in my opinion.
No one.
There's not been a better tight end in college ever. In
so look, and you're
Timothy
getting a steal
Evan
here,
Ingram
especially in the tight end premium.
I said Evan Ingram was like my floor comp. I think at worst you're getting Evan Ingram, maybe even better. By the way, I feel so bad because I just realized that LT Gray dropped a super chat and we didn't even talk about it. I'm so sorry.
Oh gosh, yeah.
T Gray, thank you so much for the love, man. He says, boys, we're going back to back. You can't count out the Chiefs. Robbing the bank is what we do for fun. Dab on them. Hey, I'm not going to lie. I had bubble guts that entire game. But I was shocked. And I have a really close friend that's a Ravens fan. I was shocked how far off of their game plan they went. I mean, they were a completely different team in that game compared to what they have been the entire year. It was shocking. But you can't count out Patty, can you? Can't count him out.
You can't count him out, you know?
We also got a super chat from Tate, which we will get to here. Thank you for the super chat, man. Appreciate you. He says, 12-team Superflex, start 11, PPR, tight end premium. I traded Stroud for Kyler, the 103, 111, 203, 303, 308. Did I win or lose as a trade? I mean, I'm pretty happy with the deal personally. What I would say is I'm more focusing on Kyler and the 103 because I know I'm going to get Kyler and Marvin Harrison Jr. or Kyler and Malik Neighbors or Kyler and Drake May or Jaden Daniels, right? So I'm happy with that return. What I will say is I would have preferred the 111, the 203, the 303, the 308. Probably get rid of all that and give me another important piece. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
If I'm trading away a guy like Stroud, Give me straight dogs across the board, not chances at getting a good player. So I would have gone quantity or a quality over quantity move there. And I would have said, counter, I don't care about the 111, 203 and any of those thirds. Give me a couple other future firsts or a solidified player, that kind of thing. What about you?
No, I completely agree, and I'm really interested to know who your other quarterback was for you to get Kyler Murray and the 103. Because if you didn't have another if you had another quarterback and you were okay with it, then I'm not necessarily sure if I would have done this trade. But yes, I do like this trade overall with this context that you've given us. But yes, package all the rest of those guys. Can I get somebody that has high upside? Can I get maybe Jaden Reed? Can I get a Rashid Rice? Can I get somebody that is going to have a high upside later on that has kind of already proven himself? But yes,
it's not the end result yet. You can use those picks to get other names, but I think overall we might have just countered slightly different, but I don't think it's a bad deal by any means. Kyler's still underrated somehow. He's about to add Marvin or Malik. It's pretty much guaranteed. So yeah. But you're on the clock now. Rome Odunze went at the 1-7. We love us some Rome. What are you thinking at the 108?
Yeah, this one's fairly easy to me at my 108. As you guys will see in the V2, my Superflex rankings are there and updated. Brian Thomas Jr. is my next best available player here. My wide receiver, technically 4 that can really take it up to the next level when you go to the NFL. A wide receiver 1 role, and here he does land with the Jacksonville Jaguars, which I really like.
Yeah.
You think of the role that Calvin really was playing and how they wanted him to play this big body wide receiver on the sideline. Now you have somebody probably with a bigger wingspan, probably that is definitely 6'4", 200 plus pounds, which is definitely bigger than Calvin Ridley, that can go up and get those contested catches, can go up and get those sideline catches. AJ Brown / Michael Pittman type of prospect there. That is my ceiling at the moment. So very interesting player and very interesting landing spot, which I am very intrigued about.
I love the landing spot, and I'm still in on Trevor, so I think it's a great compliment to Kirk. Brian's obviously going to operate on the outside, and obviously in this scenario, Calvin Ridley goes somewhere else in free agency. But Troy Franklin comes off the board next. He went to the Chiefs at pick 29. I think it's a pretty good compliment to Rashid Rice personally, a guy who's just absolutely electric after the catch, like Rashid, but probably a better route runner at this point, a guy who can stretch the field vertically, which Rashid and Travis don't really do at this point. So I think he really makes a lot of sense in that offense. But then we get J.J. McCarthy off the board, and I love it. I think this is an absolute value pick at the 110. If the Rams decide to take a quarterback in the first round, they are telling you this is their heir apparent. They are following the Packers template, if you will, right? We've got a really good veteran quarterback on the roster. Sit a year, and then eventually you're our guy kind of coming into the woodwork next year. So I love that. You got to think about it. JJ is going to sit a year, but when he does become the starter, he'll have Puka Nacua, most likely Sean McVay if this pick is being made. And that is enough for me to get excited about a prospect.
That's what I was going to say.
Yeah.
I'm really interested to see if the Rams do take a quarterback with Sean McVay future in question. Would the GM invest in a quarterback that maybe their new quote-unquote new head coach that's not Sean McVay doesn't love J.J. McCarthy, doesn't fit in his offensive scheme? That is a scary thought process, not only for J.J., for anyone, any quarterback.
That's why I personally think they don't make... That's why I was saying I don't think they make this move unless it is McVay's future. Like, it doesn't make sense to make this pick if you think McVay's going to leave, because then you have to find a coach that's excited about McCarthy. Whereas, to me, this says... Sean's like, who's the next era for me in LA? That's what it feels like to me.
No, it definitely makes sense there with JJ McCarthy.
Bo Nix off the board next. Superflex League. He goes to your Giants in the early second round. And, he gets Malik Neighbors. He has to beat out Daniel Jones, but he certainly can. And he has an incredible elite weapon to grow with Malik Neighbors over there in New York.
Well, in this thought process here, is Daniel Jones ready? You know, you draft Bo Nix in the second round. I doubt Tyrod Taylor, if I'm not mistaken, is a free agent. Tommy DeVito clearly is not the guy. Bo Nix comes in, and most likely, in this scenario, I think there's a 70% chance he is the starter week one,
Mm,
with Daniel Jones going to be in question for week one in 2024. So you have a starting quarterback here at the 111. If all those scenarios that I'm talking about do go right, with Malik Neighbors, with the Wandale Robinson, with hopefully a Saquon Barkley, a Jalen Hyatt there. So that's wild.
that is pretty wild. By the way,
Hmm.
shout out to Drusif for being a YouTube member for 20 months, man. We appreciate you. Thank you for the constant love. That's big love.
Yeah.
He says, really hoping Ben Johnson goes to Seattle for JSN, which honestly, with the amount of JSN stock I have, kind of love that too. But obviously I prefer him in Washington. Keon off the board. Keon goes to the Bills at the end of the first round. Makes sense. I mean, if he's going to be the Gabe Davis replacement, he can probably give you a little bit more than Gabe Davis, and probably more reliable as well down the field than Gabe was. But Keon links up with Josh Allen. He's a first round pick. It makes sense why he goes off the board there at the 112. All right, I got to ask the chat before we get into round two. Y'all know what I'm going to say.
You already know what he's going to say.
Who was the best value in the first round? I want to know. I want you to tell me who the best value in the first round was. And Badaki, I have a player in mind that I think was the best value, but what about you?
I think it's the quarterbacks,
Yeah, I agree.
personally. The quarterbacks starting a first rounder and a guy that went in the top 40 picks, in Bo Nix, going into a starting quarterback opportunity and in their future is something that feels invaluable in a super flex league here at the 110 and the 111.
Yeah, JJ McCarthy came to mind instantly when we're talking about best values in the first round. You know, you obviously need to be patient, but let's keep in mind, I mean, Matthew Stafford's been injured a lot in his career. So who knows if he gets called up earlier. At minimum, he's got Puka Nacua, Sean McVay as his future. So that's pretty exciting. I'd say McCarthy probably best pick in the first round based off of value. Now, we're going to get into the second round, but we would just ask you guys to do us a huge favor and go ahead and smash that like button. Our goal is always 100 likes on the stream, right? And we are currently, math would say, 34 likes away from 100. So with 150 people watching, I think we've got the numbers to get to that 100 mark. So do us a massive favor, smash that like button, and help support the stream out, yeah?
Yeah. Love it, love it, love it.
All right, let's get on to the second round here. Still some very exciting players available.
Yeah, I see. I'm looking at a couple here.
I'm wondering who I'm going to be able to grab at the 2-4. All right, Jonathan Brooks, the first running back. He goes in the third round to the Cowboys. Kind of love the landing spot, not going to lie.
Makes sense.
The Cowboys is a great landing spot for him. He gets to stay, in the state of Texas as well. Obviously, you're playing the long game here when you're drafting a guy like Jonathan Brooks. He's unlikely to be available at the very beginning of the year. He's unlikely to have a rookie camp, but a super talented player, a player that you and I really, really love. He comes off the board at the 201.
100%. 1,000%. He's my RB1, even with the ACL tear. Going into a landing spot specifically like this in the third round to the Dallas Cowboys, I think is really exciting. And it just catapults him to the next level. With the opportunity, even with Tony Pollard there, if they want to keep him for another year, I think
agree.
he comes in and takes the opportunity away from him.
That's a super exciting landing spot to kind of think about for sure. The Roll just donated. He says, "Big fan. Started a channel if you want to take a look." Yeah, man, for sure. Let us know what the name is of it, and we'll give a look later. But thank you for the donation, man. That's very kind of you.
Yeah.
Xavier Worthy off the board next. And
the 202.
a player that we like, he just didn't get great draft capital, but the landing spot's very intriguing. He goes to the Panthers. The Panthers need a dynamic playmaker. They need someone who can create space. Xavier Worthy is that. He's dynamic. He can create space. He's got twitch. He can create separation easily. How reliable will he be? We don't know. But
We don't know.
I think you can scheme up a lot of ways to get the ball into his hands in this offense.
I would say this in this thought process, even though he didn't get the draft capital that we want, I think it's still a pathway to be the number one wide receiver in this offense, which is exciting.
Yeah, I agree.
At least
Easily.
in my opinion.
Yeah.
So maybe he could have fell to you maybe in the middle, like at the 208s. I was thinking maybe he was going to fall because of his draft capital, but I can understand why somebody would take him here at the 202 as well.
Jatavion Sanders off the board next. I won't spoil anything, but I definitely got a very strong opinion on him in our rookie report. But he goes with the 49th pick to the Bengals, so makes a lot of sense. They need a receiver in that offense. If Boyd or Higgins, even if one of them, kind of goes in free agency, at least Jatavion can give them a receiving threat in the open field. And I'm up on the clock here. And,
what are you thinking?
Yeah, I mean, look. Jeez. There's so many players I love available. I just hate their landing spots with a passion.
I think there's some that we're gonna have to reevaluate here.
I am. Good Lord. Look, there's so many players I love. Do not love their landing spots at all. Just gonna be honest with you. And if that's the case, I'm going to go ahead and take Trey Benson. Scarcity at the position. I'll take Trey. He goes in the 3rd round, the pick right after Jonathan Brooks to the Packers. Aaron Jones wasn't able to stay healthy for most of this year. He looked great at the end of the year. What happens with him long-term on this team? I think we can all agree, though, that A.J. Dillon is just not giving you that juice you wanted as the second option. Just not giving you that excitement or that reliability as a complement to Aaron Jones at minimum. So Trey Benson, maybe he starts his career, as the Thunder to Aaron's Lightning, and at some point I think he could take over that role completely in an ascending offense. I love me some Trey Benson. I'll take him at the 2-4. Jalen Polk goes off the board next. He goes to the Patriots early 2nd round, so he would become Jaden Daniels' probably go-to target from day one. Penix was the guy I was really struggling with at that pick. I was really considering Michael Penix. He went to the Steelers in the 2nd round. Hard to see him not competing for that job straight away. I mean, straight away from get-go. I think he competes for that job with Kenny Pickett and probably wins it if we're honest. Can you imagine what Michael Penix would mean for George Pickens? Oh my gosh. Adonai Mitchell off the board next. Love the player. Just don't love him landing in Atlanta. New head coach. New offensive coordinator. Maybe things change, but you still have to compete with London, Pitts, Bijan. So at minimum, there are 3 really good receivers that you have to compete with in that offense. But talented player, obviously.
Yeah, talented player, and I think that's the person I was hoping to get. I know he goes to the Falcons, but maybe this is me still saying that maybe I'm out on Pitts and his longevity as a fantasy asset. I think he's talented. I know he was injured, but I think if they spend a 2nd round draft capital with this new head coach, this new regime, this new offensive coordinator, we've seen the success with multiple wide receivers be successful in an offense with the new Rams offensive coordinator. You've seen Puka, you've seen Cooper Kupp. You've seen, if I'm not mistaken, Robert Woods and Cooper Kupp. If he was the same offensive coordinator, I could be wrong. Correct me if I'm wrong.
I don't think he was there during that time. But yeah, you have seen Puka and Kupp. However, they also had Matthew Stafford at that time.
Sure. And when it comes down to this, who is their quarterback? According to this mock draft, it doesn't look like they get a quarterback, unfortunately. But anything can happen. I think I like the thought process.
They got Spencer Rattler
multiple people
in the 4th, which I actually think he's an exciting player, but certainly doesn't give you like relief,
Yeah, there's no relief there whatsoever. But I mean, is it a Russell Wilson? Is it somebody in free Kirk Cousins that I think a lot of people were talking about? That could be really, really interesting there.
Important to note, though, Kyle Pitts was not healthy for most of last year. I think he's a buy.
Yes.
Solid buy, personally.
Yeah, I did mention that. Okay, I'll go my next best available player here. I'm not in love with the landing spot, but maybe in this world he does go to the Indianapolis Colts, and Michael Pittman is no longer on this team. Xavier Leggett does get second round draft capital, top 50 draft capital here, going to the Indianapolis Colts with the 46th pick in the second round.
Yep.
I have to envision maybe he's a wide receiver 2 or the wide receiver 1 if Michael Pittman is no longer there. There have been new reports that Xavier Leggett is no longer what we have in our rookie report, which is going to be updated already. 6'3", 227 pounds. People are saying that he's 6'1".
Senior Bowl measurement, yeah.
In the Senior Bowl measurement. So that is a big difference, but still love the prospect. Big play threat ability, a DK Metcalf-ish type of build. Maybe I need to find a new pro comp, but he still has that play style. Maybe that's the best way to compare him. But I mean, if you're telling me we were comparing him to DK Metcalf with that play style, he's playing bigger than what he is then, which is exciting.
My comp was my number one comp was always Cordell Patterson. I still think that holds true even with that change in his size. Which is an exciting player. Cordero, if he came out today, that'd be exciting.
Yeah. And then we see Blake Corum
goes to the Ravens at the end of the fourth round. So you could definitely see him. You could definitely see him rise up some boards if he goes to that Baltimore spot. Any running back that goes to Baltimore, I personally think we should be in on, just because of how good that run game is, the amount of touchdown opportunities you could get there. Yeah, Justin, I'm still in on McMillan over Polk, but we have a video coming out tomorrow where we break down our top 25 wide receivers. So check that out. Tez Walker off the board next. We do like Tez. Do like him. And this is an intriguing spot for him to land. Second round to the Browns. They certainly need a complement to Amari Cooper. Elijah Moore's not it. David Njoku's doing his thing, but there's just not that second guy that they can really rely on at this point. Maybe Tez can become that for them.
Yeah, maybe that is the case here. He does go to the Browns. Let's see what Jay Bones does. He goes Bucky Irving. And Bucky Irving doesn't get the draft capital that we were hoping for, unfortunately. He goes in the 5th round, but the landing spot is still intriguing.
Yes, it is.
He goes to the Minnesota Vikings. He is my RB3, a PPR monster, which we have seen and hoped, and why we potentially like the Alexander Mattison upside, but that wasn't the case for Alexander Mattison. I think you get more explosiveness, more burst, more opportunity, more twitchiness in short area spaces, and that's exactly what Bucky Irving can bring you in a backfield like this. So I really like him. I compared him to James Cook as my ceiling, and maybe a floor is more like a Jerick McKinnon type of role. Which is still very exciting when you think of that.
I agree. I like him in Washington if Ben Johnson becomes the head coach.
You come through, man, Bucky Irving.
I would just love him to kind of complement Brian Robinson. I think that would be a really good compliment there, as Antonio Gibson is about to go into free agency. But I do love me some Bucky Irving as well. You know, I think Tajay is my comp for him. I think he is this year's Tajay Spears. And, you know, a little bit undersized for some people, but super dynamic and can catch the ball really, really well. So in PPR formats, we should be really excited. And you're right. If he goes to the Vikings, honestly, I'm not sure it matters what round it is. If Bucky goes to the Vikings, I'm in. That's exciting. Especially thinking about what Kevin O'Connell is kind of looking for out of a running back. I mean, that is a pass-heavy scheme. I think that could be really fun.
Yeah, but it definitely could be really fun.
Who's the best pick in the second round, Badaki? Best value pick in the second round. Who would you say that is?
I would have to say probably Michael Penix.
I think so too, actually.
Quarterback, super flex. He goes into 2-6. I think he could have easily gone in the first round or in the early second round with like the 201 to the 203. But, I mean, Daniel Macy in this world gets Brock Bowers, who goes to the Chargers, and then Michael Penix, who feels like is going to be the starting quarterback for the Pittsburgh Steelers. So, it's
Justin
exciting.
Says Adonai Mitchell. 80 is definitely a good value there at the 2.7. But, yeah, I just feel like Penix really – I was struggling at the 2.4 whether I should take him or not, because I don't believe in Kenny Pickett at all. I just don't. And
Yeah.
that means I'm probably going to believe in Michael Penix a little bit if this is how it pans out. But not all that dissimilar from Washington. Obviously, the offense itself is different, right? The Steelers are, they focus on the ground a lot. But could that be because they don't trust any of the quarterbacks on their roster? What happens if you put Penix in there, who has dealt the ball out to McMillan and Odunze and Polk all year long? Now he's got Deontay, Pickens, Pat Freiermuth. You got a little Jalen Warren out of the backfield. That could be exciting. So, yeah, he's competing for that job probably day one. He's competing for that job. So I definitely agree. But let's get into the third round here. Audric Estime did go off the board at the 212. He went to the Raiders. Fourth round, is that right? Yeah, fourth round.
Yeah, fourth round. Audric Estime goes to the Raiders. It's not that there's no love for. I see Chief. No love for Estime. It's just a very interesting prospect. I just don't think he fits this mold of the NFL. I think he's more of a goal line, first and second down back. Like if you're hoping for some fantasy upside with Audric Estime, more of a touchdown dependent. But we've seen guys like we kind of deem touchdown dependent, not necessarily, or bring more value than that, right? We've seen, like, for example, the Brian Robinsons, who at the time weren't really high, and look what he finished as this past year. I think he was a top 8, top 10 before he got injured in the second half of the season with some PPR upside. We weren't expecting that. So just depends on the fit and the mold, but I don't see the fantasy in a PPR perspective where he brings significant value compared to some of these other guys like a Bucky, like a Trey.
I don't think he'll be using the air much at all. He lined up as a receiver, I think, less than 1% in college. To me, Audric is better suited to the collegiate level than he is the NFL. But he is a big body and he can move piles. He's got ridiculous strength. So that can always be someone that ends up being valuable. Damn, I was thinking I was about to get the steal of the draft, Lad McConkey, Lad the Space Creator, but he goes the pick right before me. Why did he fall? Well, because he went to the Eagles. It makes sense. I mean, you really have to kind of spin a web here when you're trying to figure out how he becomes a reliable asset. A.J. Brown's there.
Yeah.
Devonta Smith is there. I guess you could spin the web and, like, do they afford to bring back Devonta Smith? I don't know, it's hard to see a team letting go of Devonta Smith, but it's just
I completely agree.
There's not much reliability there. I think that's what's the concern.
There's creativity here, though. That's what's exciting. With Kellen Moore going to the Philadelphia Eagles now, there can be a little bit more excitement and upside when you think of this new potential offensive scheme, but still very limited within that scheme.
So Braylon Allen went the pick before. And he went to the Texans in round 4. I want to... Okay, go ahead.
No, sorry. I think we're probably going to say the exact same thing. This is probably the worst landing spot for Braylon Allen based off of what we've seen from Dameon Pierce this past year. Dameon Pierce, bulldozer, big body type of running back. Same thing equivalent to Braylon Allen.
Braylon Allen's a lot bigger, but yeah, same play style.
Same play style, and we've seen Dameon Pierce lose his job to Devin Singletary because he just didn't fit the mold of that offense anymore. The Bobby Slowick doesn't necessarily, I guess, incorporate these big body running backs. You saw Devin Singletary get into space. You saw him kind of hitting the gap a little bit stronger and faster, and that's exactly what Braylon Allen doesn't do. In this offense. He definitely has abilities to be successful, just not in this offense specifically, unfortunately.
Yeah, not a very good fit. They need someone a little more dynamic, I think. But not to say that it's a bad player at all. I'm on the clock here, and one of my favorite sleepers is on the board. I think I'm going to have to take him here. That is Jermaine J. Cole Burton. I'll take him at the 3-4. He goes to the Titans in the 4th round. And the Titans need a player like this right now. They don't have really a, advanced route runner, separator, a guy who can play outside in the slot, a versatile player that you can move all over the field. They have good athletes. They have DeAndre Hopkins. I still love Treylon Burks, but he's a project that it doesn't look like it's going to really work out. They need someone who can separate and give Will Levis kind of like these easy dump offs. Give Will Levis an easier offense to run. You know, Jermaine Burton could be the answer there. So big fan of his game. I think he could be this year's Jaden Reed. I see a little Adam Thielen in his game, a little Josh Downs. An exciting player in my opinion. Then Malachi Corley goes off the board next. Jacob Cohen, Will Shipley, and now you're on the board. What are you thinking?
Yeah, I was really hoping for Jacob to kind of fall to me there.
Yeah.
But there's still somebody else that I do like,
Okay.
a wide receiver out of Florida, Ricky Pearsall. I'll take him here. Really good, reliable hands. Interesting player, 6'1", 100, I think 90 plus pounds. Somebody that I did bring as one of these guys that goes in the middle of the third round, late or even fourth round, depending on the draft capital, that can be the quote unquote next Puka, that can fall into one of these best landing spots and hopefully be this guy. In this world, he falls in the fourth round to the Denver Broncos, where Jerry Jeudy is probably no longer going to be on this team, where Cortland Sutton is probably no longer going to be on this team.
Yeah.
You have Marvin Mims here, and Ricky Pearsall is technically the second wide receiver in Sean Payton's Broncos history that he's drafted. They're probably bringing another wide receiver in the offseason, but I think this is an exciting player that has really good upside, really good hands, especially in traffic. He's an explosive playmaker. Every play I saw, I just felt like it was a big play. It was something that they needed to happen, and Ricky made it happen. So I'll take him here. He goes to the Denver Broncos.
I like Ricky, Slick Ricky. I've seen some people call him, and I love it, Slick Ricky. Yeah, he's exciting. I don't personally think he has much yak appeal, but I do think he is a reliable player, great route tree, good route runner, like you mentioned. So he's an exciting player, and I'll just clarify for you because I know you would agree. It's probably never going to be a Puka again, but you mean from the sense of like a player drafted late that could overseed his ADP.
1,000%. 1,000%.
Spencer Rattler off the board. He goes to the Falcons. Honestly, guys, like Rattler has a lot to still work on, but diving into him before we release version 2, that arm talent is just, it's stupid. It is honestly stupid. Like 99% of starting quarterbacks wish they had it in the NFL. 99% of starting quarterbacks probably wish they had his arm talent. Now, he struggles to read a defense well, makes poor decisions often, doesn't anticipate throws. There's no consistency. Yeah. So all that is an issue, but purely when you look at, like, if you were just to rank him as like an arm talent and you look at all starting quarterbacks in the NFL, he's probably top 7. Arm talent alone. Arm talent alone. As a starting quarterback, he's probably not worthy of being a starter right now, but it's a project that's really, really exciting to think about. So he comes off the board, then Thrash, then Lloyd. I think Lloyd's a great pick there. He went to where did he go?
Cardinals in the 5th round.
Cardinals in the 5th round. And Bucky Irving went to the Vikings in the 5th round, and there's an entire round between those two names. So I actually think Marshawn Lloyd could have gone earlier, personally. But he does come off the board there.
I think so as well.
And then we see Jordan Travis. Where did Jordan go in this mock? I remember seeing his name.
I don't think we have him
in
this mock. Or say, he went to the Vikings in the 5th round.
Okay. Vikings, 5th round. Yeah. It's super flex, so take a shot. So many injuries to that team this year. What would Jordan Travis have done if Kirk Cousins went down last year and he was there? So yeah, it makes sense to take a shot on Jordan there. 4th round starts. Let's go ahead and quick fire through the 4th round here, gang. We'll quick fire through the 4th round. 30 seconds on the clock. And did we reach 100 likes? That was our goal for today's stream. I'm just refreshing. We're at 93, so only 7 likes away from 100. Do us a massive favor if you're watching and you haven't done so yet. Smash that like button. Again, just 7 likes away from 100. We're getting close. Ray Davis. We love us some sweet baby Rays.
Sweet baby Rays, man.
He's off the board.
Rays.
And
I'm trying to figure out where he went. He went in the 7th round.
Torrey Horton, by the way, is returning to school, so he shouldn't be even in Sleeper's database. But He goes as well as Johnny. Is Javon Baker not in the ADP? What the heck? All right, I'm going to take a random tight end, but just know that this is Javon Baker. I love me some Javon Baker out of UCF. And Javon went to the Titans in the 4th round. So I actually get both Titans wide receivers, Burton and Javon Baker. But Javon Baker out of UCF, very exciting athlete. Great deep ball threat. Impressive after the catch as well. So I'll take Javon there. And let's see what team here at the 5th spot does.
I get auto pick potentially.
So Joe Milton comes off the board. I'm not even sure he was drafted. Then Michael Pratt. Michael Pratt's been probably a value for a minute on the board.
Yeah.
He goes to the Saints in the 2nd round. So that's a great pick. And then Frank Gore Jr., remember? He's going to run a 4.23, was it?
4.23, yeah.
We were
probably
told.
one of the fastest 40s in
NFL history.
NFL history. I'll take Jaheim Bell here.
Jaheim Bell comes off the board.
He went to your Chiefs in the 4th round. Not Patrick Mahomes, excuse me. Travis Kelce is going to retire because he's in love with Taylor Swift and probably going to have probably the wedding of the century. So he retires. Jaheim Bell steps up here and takes over.
Yeah, I don't think Jaheim Bell is going to give the Chiefs what Kelce can do as a blocker, and also really anything. But he's a fun dynamic athlete at the tight end spot, so it makes a lot of sense in that offense. Roman Wilson off the board next.
Decent draft capital.
Yeah.
4th round to the Cardinals.
Okay.
Not terrible.
Yeah, not bad. Could be worse. 100%. No worries, bro. You're totally okay. Trevor's off the board, and then we'll answer this super chat at the end of this stream. Malik Washington, I love me some Malik. He goes to the Commanders in the 5th round. Super exciting player. Broke a ton of records. He stays in the DMV. Rashee Rice. Brendan Rice off the board next. And then Nesbitt, the tight end, who I don't think he was drafted in this draft we're using for landing spots, but yeah, he goes off the board. A couple names that didn't get drafted that I thought were worthy of being drafted. Let's start with Jalen Wright. Yeah, the running back from Tennessee. He went to the Bills. Don't love how he complements James Cook, but I think he was worth a look.
I'll be honest with you. That's really it.
Yeah.
I'm looking through
Taj
the 6th
Washington,
and 7th.
maybe?
Yeah, Taj Washington. Where did he go?
Taj went to the Panthers in the 5th round.
Okay. Yes. Sorry, I didn't see yes. But he goes to the Panthers in the 5th round. Jalen Wright.
Yeah, I can't make up and pretend like there's anyone else on the board that I'm super excited about. So yeah, that's probably it.
Yeah, that is probably it. So very interesting mock draft here.
Oh, Nesbitt went to New Orleans.
I love it.
My bad. But yeah, that is the mock draft. We will answer this super chat from Steven here. Thank you for the donation, my man. And we did reach 100 likes, which is awesome, guys. Thanks so much for the support. Steven says, what's up, guys? Who do you think will be the biggest dynasty riser this rookie season? I'm guessing Xavier Legette. 2 names come to mind for me. Well, I would, this answer like 2 months ago would have been Lad McConkey, but that's already happened. And Brian Thomas, but those names have already risen. But now, as we sit here today, I think my answer would probably be Jalen McMillan, as well as Javon Baker and Jermaine Burton. Those would be my 3.
I would say Jermaine Burton. I'll actually put Jermaine Burton, the other Washington wide receiver, and Jalen Polk. Okay. I think the NFL really likes him. I don't why. I don't know. I have no reason behind it. It's just a gut feeling. And for me, that'll be Jacob Cowing.
Okay, Jacob Cowing off the board too. Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah. Should we do the opposite of that? Who do we think could fall by the time April comes around? Obviously, it'll be the person who doesn't get the draft capital, right? But based off the current hype, who could fall?
I feel like the player that is really falling, and maybe he's falling in my rankings, and because I haven't heard too much about him, Xavier Worthy. You know,
Really?
like
Okay.
early in the off season, I felt like he was specifically always mocked in the first round. He was somebody that was going to be a big wide receiver and be a big change in an offense. And I just don't. I'm not getting that feeling. Once
Okay.
again, it's a feeling. I'm not understanding why. I just feel like he is somebody that's gonna fall. Um,
Okay.
Obviously, our biggest one that we don't like is Keon Coleman. I think that's already happening.
Yeah, it's like I said this last week, but I feel like Keon's falling to the point where, in my opinion, he's almost becoming a value. I wouldn't say that in this draft, but there are some drafts where Keon's like late second. He's available in these rookie drafts that we've been doing. And I think at that point he becomes a value. But I agree with like when the process first started, everyone was like Keon's a top 10 pick in the NFL draft. He has to be in the first 7 picks of rookie mock drafts. We were like, what? Why? Tell us why, because we don't understand it. And I feel like now everyone kind of is on the same page where, for the most part, people see the flaws in his game. Xavier Worthy's interesting, man.
And once again, I have nothing to really back it up.
Sure.
I mean, think about when we first started, though. Like we've seen Xavier Worthy consistently in the first round.
Sure.
It was always, it was never something. Once again, these are mock drafts, so I'm going based off these mock drafts. We felt really confident in his game style and his gameplay, which I still feel really confident in. But there's no talks around him. Now he's getting mocked into this one for specifically the third round, the second round. I don't think we've done a mock draft where Xavier Worthy has gone in the first round in, I would say, the last month.
Okay, that's fair. That's
Um,
fair.
but I still love the prospect. I just think that he's not getting the hype that I was
Yeah.
hoping for and expecting going into it.
You know, I'm trying to find a good name because obviously it would have been Keon a couple months ago. It was for us, Keon, who we thought would drop. That's already happened.
Mhm.
I kind of feel like Penix a little bit because
Mhm.
there is an expectation that there's like a 40% chance he gets drafted in the first round. I wouldn't be surprised if he ends up going in the third. Now, there's certainly a possibility if a team loves him, they'll get him in the back end of the first. But I also wouldn't be shocked at all based off of his injury history, the performance in the national championship game, whether that's right or wrong. I feel like Penix could be a faller too. And then I don't want this to happen. Let me be very clear. I don't want this to happen. But I kind of think Leggett could be a faller. And that's just purely based on like his profile is not all that impressive when you consider his entire collegiate career. Also, we talked about him being this huge big body that the NFL would fall in love with. He's probably not even top 5 as far as like size now in this class at the wide receiver position. If he really is 6'1", 220, he still plays great. The film's still great. I'm just saying I think he could fall because in the first 4 years he did nothing. He did absolutely nothing in the first 4 years. I know that the team loved him. He was a great glue guy, but he did nothing in the first 4 years. And then in year 5 just breaks out. It's obviously easier for you to break out when you are 23 years old and the people you're facing are 18 and 19, right? That's just easier. I'm not sure what the NFL thinks about him, but there's a opposite side here where he just dominates the combine, and I really think he could dominate, and he could rise. Just like Steven's saying, he's gonna have to dominate the Senior Bowl and dominate the combine to really rise, and I think that's possible. But if he doesn't, if he only just is average in those events, I think he could fall due to him not producing for so long and being such a late breakout. So, yeah, those are 2 names I'd say as well. But yeah, that's probably it for today. We do appreciate you guys. Thanks so much for hanging out with us. Hey, again, while there are still people here on the stream, do me a huge favor. We've already got some replies here, which is awesome. If you want to be a part of a video that we have coming up here soon, I am asking you, I am pleading you to contribute. So I just pasted the link in the chat to this tweet, and all I want you to do is if you have seen or made a trade involving a 2024 first round pick, leave a screenshot below of this tweet. In the bottom of this tweet, you can do us another favor by hitting the like button and retweeting so more people see it. I don't really care if this tweet goes viral. It's not going to go viral, right? This is not the point of it. The reason I'm doing that is because for us to create the best content for you, we want the most information out there in the community. Do you know what I'm saying? So if you can do us a huge favor, if you've seen any first round pick be traded in your league, or if you've made that trade, drop a screenshot in the tweet. I just pasted the link down below. Again, drop a screenshot, any context that you want to be included in it, and there's a good chance you'll be featured in a video coming up this week. So we do appreciate y'all. Again, don't care so much about what this tweet does. I care about how it will improve the content we bring you guys. So we appreciate you. The only other thing is that Badaki and I are very, very excited to release version 2 of our 2024 rookie report. You can see version 1 here on your screen. That was released at the end of December, and now February 1st, we have got a brand new rookie report to bring you. New players added, new profiles. We're bringing in tight ends in V2, a couple new features that we're excited about, and of course, new sleepers to discuss with you. But version 2 releases February 1st. If you want to get your hands on that, very simple. All you need to do, use the promo code LAND, become a mother flocker on the Flock Fantasy website, and you'll instantly get access to that report when it releases on February 1st. Not only that, you'll get access to our rankings, both Superflex rankings and one quarterback. Let's say you want to look at expert rankings and compare them across the board. You can totally do that if you prefer. We've also got the prospects there ranked as well. Let's say you want to see my rankings here, then you can totally access that. When you become a Mother Flocker member, you can also access the trade calculator, the best in the industry, the trade finder. You also get a Dynasty team review. Tomorrow night, we will be reviewing teams from people who are supporting us on the Flock Fantasy channel. So if you want access to that, again, use the promo code LAND, become a Mother Flocker, and DM us. We'll get you all hooked up. That's it for today, guys. Nothing but love. We appreciate you. We'll see you very soon. And yeah, have a good rest of your night.
Love.